Alright, going to do a quick tutorial on basically, I mean, anybody who knows anything about modding in Skyrim can actually help with the Discworld mod. Just going to show you how we copy assets that you make, or you can even build in the actual Discworld world, the open space, and we can actually move them into the main ESP. So we start with wire bash. We actually have to esmify because nothing will slave to a ESP as far as I can tell. Like, it'll slave to it, and then the moment you try to load it, it just unslaves it, and it drives me nuts. So boot up the creation kit. I will pause past all the load times, which are ridiculous. So you would load up Discworld. Can't set it as active even though it shows ESP on there. But we will supply the ESM esmified version, or even the ESP. I mean, you can play with it as you want. Never modify the actual Discworld M1 ESP because that's on our end. We'll be working on that. So anything you do to it personally will just be erased. We'll never actually load it in on ours. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is make sure you slave your ESP, which isn't named yet, to the Discworld M1. And we actually made an item, 00, Discworld slave 1, just copy. It shows up at the top on everybody's thing, or at least it should. Just open any random cell, doesn't matter. Any modifications you do, if you're meaning to send this into the Discworld, won't really matter. You can throw shit into any cell, boom, Dwemer head. File, save, make your name, blah blah Discworld patch. Probably want to name it with whatever name you have, so we know who's sending it and what assets we're using, etc. Then if you look in data, it's slaved to Discworld M1 ESP. So now at this point you can I'll show you just an interior cell real quick. So I mean any interior cell. I usually duplicate a marker 1, name it to 0 my cell, so it shows up at the top. We can easily find it. Delete everything in it. Then you just put random crap in there. Dwemer. Small rooms. Yay, I do a snap-on. So we put a table and 2 ground pieces. It's mostly just to show you how this works. So, and then anything you put in the actual world, so you can load Discworld. We're going to rename all these wilderness cells to actually be something. So if somebody wants to work somewhere, they can basically just take a screenshot and say, hey, I want to work in this cell, and we will send you an ESP of an ESP that's actually got that cell with renamed cells in it, so that we know which ones you worked in. Basically, you can load this up, and the problem with working in the outdoor world is you can't, you can edit the terrain with H for the height map, and you can, flatten vertices, solve vertices, pull stuff up, go crazy with it if you know how to do any terrain editing. So see, we made a hill. The problem is that though that hill will actually show up when we do the end of this, because of the way we're copying, it won't show up in the end, so you'd have to make notes. Or if you build buildings, like say you put a building up on that hill, we'll actually know, we'll see you did it, and we'll modify the actual terrain for you. So let's find a farm. Farmhouse, boom. So we'll put a farmhouse up here. Put another farmhouse down here. So now when you save, you're still slaved, it's saved. Saving done, gotta close out. Well, you don't. You send us this ESP now, and this is what we do on our end. I'll show you that, even though you might not even care. Who cares? Blah, blah. So we go back, we turn the ESP back into an ESP. We load it as active. We load yours, even though it's slaved to it, as not active. Okay, now we have it loaded up with the Discworld M1 being active, your cell that contains basically nothing. We just duplicate that, and literally it's duplicated. We do actually the same thing to Discworld. So we would load this. Let's see, we know you've got the 2 farmhouses, but you see how now the terrain isn't modified. So any terrain modifications you do, we're going to have to guess at or load your ESP and take. So screenshots would be very helpful for this one, because now we can just go duplicate. So now, you see we got 2 of those. We save ours. Go back and wait through the extremely long load time sometimes of this, but we deselect this. Ours is still active. Hit OK. Okay, so now as you see, we don't have the 0 my cell, but we have the duplicate, which is exactly like the other cell. Everything will be copied except for connection data. So if you've got nav mesh in there, it'll be copied. Traps will be copied. Scripts will not, unless you use default game scripts. Any script you make on your own will not be copied, even if we had it. Same thing is true of the outside world. Got the 2 houses, and of course nothing underneath. And I mean, all terrain editing will have to be done in house. If there's anything custom you want, you can suggest it for the cells that you want to edit if you want to do something on the outside world. And that's about it. It's really easy to incorporate other people's work. If you want to make an interior dungeon, you know, let us know. If you want to make an exterior, if you want to screw around with something, I mean, anything's game at the moment. Anything you want to make too, if you have anything favorite from Discworld that you want to add, let us know, because right now the stories are up in the air. We can do anything from Discworld. It's mostly just themed. We're not trying to religiously follow anything. We're just trying to keep it in the mood and the, you know, atmosphere of Discworld, and obviously add a bunch of characters from it. So, you know, hit us up, ddproductions83 at gmail.com. Message us on any of the forums. We'll work with whatever, wherever. I mean, even just making one little dungeon, even making just the interior of that house saves us, you know, an hour. Especially me, I am horrible at dragging and dropping little objects all over the place. It drives me up the wall. So, alright, thanks, and that is it.